welcome Pramath Verma. Pramath Verma is from Hong Kong. He's a banker, and we will have an interesting conversation today, which will be more focused on his other life or other passion for mini crosswords. So, Pramath, with that introduction, thank you very much for joining. Can I just request you to talk a bit more about you so that people know who is Pramath? I obviously know you from our work days.
Sure. Hi, and Mangesh, thanks for having me. Great to see you again. I haven't seen
Yeah,
met you in person for a while, but yeah.
yeah.
Quick on myself. I've been in Hong Kong for 6 years.
Okay,
Moved here back in 2018 with our ex firm essentially.
right.
Before that, I was in Mumbai and pretty much in India all my life.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think what else? Well settled in Hong Kong. Have a family, younger one who's 3 years old now, and
okay.
yeah, a bit early for her to start crosswords, but she does seem to have a liking for books and letters and whatnot. So hopefully, let's see where that heads.
I'm
Um,
100% sure.
yeah, maybe a quick one about my crossword journey, if that
Yes,
helps, in
please.
terms of
Yes,
how I want
that's
to do
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in fact, Mangesh, obviously, maybe just a bit of background on how I kind of got to know about you also, right? I
Yeah,
think in the internal news when in your ex shop there was an article about you.
yeah.
I think it was specifically about when you published the crossword on Gandhi Jayanti.
Yes.
So then I got to know, okay, there is someone in the firm. Because again, I knew your name, but I didn't know that you were a crossword enthusiast, right? So that was quite
Yeah.
interesting. And I actually then went back and saw that particular
Oh,
Gandhi Jayanti crossword.
oh,
So that really got
okay.
me hooked into what you're doing and what kind of crosswords you're doing, right? I think that's the that was my introduction to you
Okay.
specifically. And then I kind of read about your origin story as well, right? In a way, how you kind of used to go on the you used to do it for your I think studies, if I'm not wrong, and then you were
Yeah.
solving it
True.
on the train journey in Bombay, right?
True.
So again, not exactly like that for me, but I've also been kind of doing crosswords from a fairly early age, from my
Okay.
teen years.
Okay.
I think I think it was the crossword that used to come in Delhi Times, if I'm not wrong. So
Haha.
I'm originally from Delhi.
Oh, you're from Delhi. Okay.
So
Okay. Cool. Cool.
yeah,
Excellent.
so I
Okay.
used to do that, and then got into buying crossword books and just kind of it just kind of got hooked to it.
Right.
And
Right.
over the last few years, I've been doing the New York Times one
Right.
because again, that kind of fits. There are obviously different varieties, right? So there is the cryptic, which
Yeah.
again I like sometimes, but it does take a bit more time. And given the time poor work life that I have,
Yeah.
the New York Times one, frankly, fits a bit better. It's just a bit
Yeah.
faster. So.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for a few years essentially, and it just kind of keeps me up on my toes, and it's a good break from
Yeah.
the day to day of life, right? And then you very nicely started this mini group. I think I was one of the first few people to join the group, and
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I've seen it grow so well, and so many members, and all kudos to you for taking all the effort and
Yeah.
introducing this to the world, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been kind of been doing those crosswords. I won't say I've been, to be honest, as regular on yours as I would like to be,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to pick it up in the last few weeks certainly, and definitely liking where it's heading.
Yeah. So you're not regular, but you are definitely, hitting the charts on the leaderboard. So if you become regular, I don't know, you will be like leading it all the way. So
You've
that
been
is
kind, thank you.
exciting. Looking forward
Yeah.
to that.
Hmm.
So yeah, let me, a lot of people, let me jump to the meat. Thank you very much for the introduction and thank you very much for joining the group. You have been one of the earliest ones I remember, and you have seen this blossom. But let me jump to the meat. A lot of people on the group, on the community, are first time solvers. Any tips for people who are wanting to get to, if not sub-minute, maybe 90 seconds and maybe faster. Anything which will help them to, what do you do
Um,
more?
yeah, I think I
Yeah.
would say it's just like about doing more of these, frankly.
Okay.
I don't think there's any. Like, there are ways and means you can do it. So
Yeah.
one tip would be that you try to do the across. So I think it's always easier to solve the across clues
Yeah.
first, rather than the downs. And if you
Uh-huh.
get the across done in the mini, more or less you're there.
Yeah.
I think that's what I found helpful in minis,
Uh-huh.
especially. But it
Okay.
all frankly comes down to maybe practice,
Right.
as in doing enough and more of
Right.
these. And sometimes you are able to also get in the mind of the crossword constructor also. Like, okay, there's a particular clue which is done a certain way.
Yeah.
then when you get the next answer, which might not be that obvious, maybe you can kind of join the dots a bit, right?
Right, right, right.
So sometimes I see some patterns with you, for example. So
Yeah,
that kind of is what my guidance would be. But I think overarching everything is just doing more and more,
more
and
and
you will get
more.
the hang of it. I think, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And the simple things like if there's a plural, you add an S at the end and things like that, which again I think you also
yeah,
talked about
yeah,
in
yeah,
your
yeah.
articles and in your
True,
other sessions.
true. No, but this is important. A lot of people, who have joined first, joined, late or may not be so fully aware. Uh, Simple tips like if a clue indicates that the answer is going to be plural, even if you don't know the answer, you can fill in the last letter as S. So, that helps sometimes. There are exceptions to that. So there are some plurals which end in
Yeah,
I
yeah,
or an E, like radii or foray. So you don't want to get into those traps. But S as a plural answer ending is a helpful tip. So at least that can help save you a few seconds. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
yeah, yeah.
These things matter.
No,
Anything
yeah.
else? Do you do any special reading, or when you say practice, it's just that, or put it the other way around, when you are reading about your general work stuff, business stuff, do you pay attention that this will help me in solving a crossword sometimes?
Uh, okay, so I also quiz. So actually,
Okay,
when I'm reading things and also I kind of think from that
okay,
lens generally.
okay.
Um, Obviously especially if you're doing the New York ones, which are more trivia based at times,
Yeah,
it does help
okay,
to be like read and retain facts and all those things. But
yeah,
the I think essentially things are kind of can be worked out, I feel.
okay.
You there might be one or two which will completely fox you because you just don't know the answer because you don't know, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I was seeing I think in the last live session that you did, I think the guest there mentioned that there was that angry young man answer
yes.
for that Amitabh Bachchan one, right? Which is
Yeah,
again, if you don't know, you don't
yeah.
know,
You
right?
don't know, yeah.
Uh, so I think maybe, but others you can maybe work out. So yeah, maybe long answer to a short question, but essentially, yeah, just I would say just be curious, keep reading,
Yeah,
and some of those things can be helpful. And definitely the crosswords you're setting are also somewhat linked to Indian
yes,
culture, some bit of current affairs, and
yeah, yeah.
also, yeah, I think for your crossword specifically, that would be helpful to be plugged into that.
True, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was, you made that right observation that angry young man is so popular in Indian culture. It is
Yeah,
happening every day.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
true.
you're doing a good job of engaging with the community. I think
Yeah,
there's that clue of the day kind of a thing, and especially as
yeah,
you're doing different things, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
again, it just kind of keeps it just because it can become very dry, obviously. So at least you're
Yeah.
kind of keeping the variety there.
No, that is my intention. That you don't want to become mechanical. That you just do it every day and you forget about it. If there is some more juice to it, some more charm to it, people will enjoy it, because solving a crossword is, yeah, it's enjoyable, but the intention is to grow the community. And for that, I'll need to bring people who don't solve
Mm.
to get them to solve. I've realized it is easier said than done. There are so many more alternatives. Yeah, this is great. One more, one or two more questions. One is, do you think solving these crosswords, and you have been doing it for like decades now, helps you in your, if not in your work, maybe, but in your general life? How does it impact you? I mean,
No, I think it does.
as a
It
person.
uh it 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 actually I feel it helps in work because it's how do I put it? It is a bit of a mental agility kind of a thing, right? So
Hmm,
it's
yes,
keeping your mind sharp essentially.
yes, yes.
And for me also, okay, when I'm doing crosswords, either I'm doing it. So the Monday crossword, which will come out tomorrow, New York Times, I'll do it first thing in the morning. So that
Yeah,
sets me up for the day.
yeah,
The other crosswords during the day, I will do during the week rather, I will do maybe in lunchtime or something. It just gives you a good break in the middle of a
yeah,
busy day and
yeah,
then kind of refreshes the mind and keeps it sharp, right? It just gives you
yeah,
that bit of a segue. And yeah, I think that carries it to personal life also, right? I think it's just it's just time you're taking for yourself, essentially.
Yes.
It's the time you're sitting aside, doing it, just figuring things out. The process kind of like it gives you peace of mind, essentially, I would say. And just yeah, and intellectual pursuit never hurts.
Yeah, no, very, very powerful statement when you say that, you take your time for yourself, right? Because in the hula baloo of life, you just forget it.
Yeah,
So it's pretty, I'll say even thoughtful of you as a solver to think about it. Otherwise, you know,
thank you.
there is so much more to do and to get lost in, so to speak. Uh, but yeah, this is very, very insightful. Uh, and one last question. I am very, very keen to get more young people to get into it. You have been solving since your younger days, and now, you know, you've like grown up with it. Any thoughts on what I can do more to bring those younger people who may not be solvers yet, may not be aware of such a product yet,
Hmm.
but you know, want to become solvers. So
I,
how do
I
we, any thoughts about how do we get them?
I think what you're doing right now is the first step, with like really
Yeah,
engaging and building out a social media, because that's really the way you engage and reach out to people these days, right? So
yeah,
just broadening that reach and increasing that awareness through these channels that,
yeah,
okay, this is there and this is interesting. Because again, if you think about how there were all these crazes about, like, let's say Sudoku in the past, right? And
yeah,
Sudoku kind of came across as a way because it came at a time when people are there and they just become kind of viral, right?
yeah.
So you kind of get these phases where something becomes very popular, like the Wordle thing also, right? So
Yes, correct.
now I think crosswords have been around a lot longer, so I don't think you're going to get like a suddenly a big spike or something.
True,
But
true.
even then, I do feel these days there's a lot of awareness in people's minds after Wordle, after Sudoku about these games. And what is very helpful, and I find this very helpful, is the apps that are there these days, which makes it
Yeah,
easier for you to
yeah,
play, right?
yeah,
The printed written format is always good, but the app kind of makes it just more convenient. So I think social media reach, having the right online tool to then kind of use that, and just these kind of sessions you're doing, just kind of reaching out and creating
yeah,
awareness. I think that's kind of the thing. Maybe the fourth thing is that suggestion maybe
yeah,
is that maybe do more theme ones, which maybe can be more addressed to the younger generation, right? Let's say something more from the
yeah.
this turn of the millennium, maybe.
Correct, true,
Uh,
true.
right. So I think maybe something like that to just get people excited. But otherwise, I think yeah, I don't think there's anything else that you really need to do.
The fan.
And the Eras tour has enough vowels for you to use, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Enough eras to. That's the reason I named
Yeah,
her Eva because it has two vowels.
yeah.
So yeah, eras to K-pop. Um, yeah, that's I think quite interesting to keep them in the loop.
All right.
So yeah, we've we've taken good time. This is very, very helpful. Anything else, Pramath, you want to say? Happy to hear.
No, just keep on the good fight as a fellow Crucio herbalist. That
Yep.
they kind of what you're doing is really amazing. And one question I have for you is, when can I expect your next big crossword in maybe
Uh,
whichever publication?
Big Crossroads. Actually, I'm not focusing at all right now
Okay.
because this activity itself takes a lot of time.
Hmm.
And actually, Big Crosswords is about. I'm waiting for the right idea.
Hmm.
So the last one was Taj Mahal, which was again celebratory. Last one was Gandhi, which was again topical. So if I have some nice topical idea which comes to my mind, I'll publish
Yeah. Maybe
because it
the
takes a lot of.
T20 World Cup then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Sorry,
can,
no pressure.
I mean,
No pressure,
I
no pressure.
can, no, no, I'm saying I can do it for my own site.
Hmm.
I mean, to publish it on a newspaper is like a whole process.
Yeah, yeah.
So there, a lot of time commitment. So I
Got it,
wait
got
for
it.
the right idea to come. I'll, we'll see what comes. I think that's the best part. You wait for the idea to land
Okay.
rather than chasing it. So let's see.
I look forward to that.
Yep, yep. Thanks a lot.